My name is Christina, and today I'll be presenting my speech about texting and driving. You can't text and drive. Your eyes don't work that way. It's just that simple. You can't look down at your phone and keep your eyes on the road to make sure you know where you're going so you don't run into anything, or you don't cause an accident, or you wreck into somebody, or another vehicle, or something like that. Texting and driving is a growing epidemic between young teens and adults in America. There is a resolution for this, though, and it's quite simple. Just don't do it. You may not see it in your neighborhood with your own eyes every day, like in a student driving and causing an accident because he was on a cell phone, or even an older man driving and he caused an accident because he was on his cell phone using the GPS or some sorts of like that. But after viewing the statistics involved with texting and driving, maybe you'll change your mind about it before you approach the road while on your cell phone. Texting and driving has become more and more common, especially with teens and young adults. An astonishing 21% of drivers admit to texting while driving. That's almost a quarter of all drivers. And 46% of teens admit to texting while driving. But keep in mind that these last two facts were only based on those who admitted to performing this action. All others who didn't participate or lied are still unaccounted for. So can you imagine if everybody answered honestly and you got everybody to answer to this survey? How many people would actually be texting and driving or using their cell phone while operating an automobile? Drunk drivers are 4 times more likely to get into an automobile accident compared to 8 times if texting while driving. According to distraction.gov, there were a total of 30,797 fatal car accidents in the United States in 2009, resulting in 33,808 deaths involving 45,203 drivers. According to EdgarSnyder.com, 11 teens die every day as a result of texting while driving. And they only said that was the teenagers. And that was just for texting and driving. That's not including on the cell phone for if you're checking an email or you're on the phone talking and you're trying to hit the speaker button. It just takes that split second for an accident to occur. According to a AAA poll, 94% of teen drivers acknowledge the dangers of texting and driving, but 35% admitted to doing it anyway. So like I said back in the beginning, it's only those that admitted to doing it. So if you think about it, there's more than likely over 50% of the population that can cause an accident from operating a vehicle while using their cell phone. 21% of teen drivers involved in fatal accidents were distracted by their cell phones. 5 seconds is the minimal amount of attention that a driver who texts takes away from the road. So if you're driving and you're traveling at 55 miles per hour, this equals driving the length of a football field without looking at the road. Could you imagine? And it's a big deal when they score that touchdown. So, you're taking that long not to look at the road? Who knows what could happen within that? Texting makes a crash up to 23 times more likely. 23 times. A lot of these are almost a 0.25%. Teens who text while driving spend 10% of the time outside their lane. According to AT&T's Teen Driver Survey, 97% of teens agree that texting while driving is dangerous, yet 43% do it anyway. Almost 50% still do it. And almost 100% agree that texting and driving is dangerous. I'm sure everybody can agree to that texting and driving is dangerous. 19% of drivers of all ages admit to surfing the web while driving. 43 states plus DC prohibit all drivers from texting. 40% of teens say that they have been in a car when the driver used a cell phone. According to 77% of teens, adults tell them not to text or email while driving, yet adults do it themselves all the time. So, us teenagers or young adults look at them and they're supposed to be our role model, and we wonder why we should do what they were telling us when they're doing everything that they told us not to do. 9 in 10 teens expect a reply to a text or email within 5 minutes or less, which puts pressure on them to respond while driving. So, within 5 minutes, you're waiting for that response. So, imagine how many times you're looking down at your phone, checking and waiting, and you're just eager for that response so you can reply back to them. Now that we've learned some shocking information about texting while driving, here's how we are trying to prevent it. Distracted driving has been estimated to cause over 11,500 deaths in the last 2 years, says lowestpricetrafficschool.com. But what are we doing about it? How to stop phone use while on the phone? How to stop the phone use while on the road? How do you stop using your phone when you're on the road? Well, it's simple. Nowadays, in 2017, it's going to be 2018, we've developed a lot of technology, and we have a bunch of really cool apps and like GPS hackers and stuff. So you can install a phone, text blocker, a mobile tracker, and basically the vehicle's GPS system. You'll will interface with the cell phone's application that you downloaded if the car is in motion. And if it senses that the car is in motion, then it will disable the cell phone's ability to call and text. With crash risk increasing 4 times talking on the phone and 23 times texting, it can help discipline the driver into not relying on their phones so much while on the road until they break the habit of getting off their phone and being behind the wheel. All cell phone use. No state bans all cell phone use for all drivers. But 38 states and DC ban all cell phone use by novice drivers, and 20 states and DC prohibit it for school bus drivers. It is classified as a primary offense in DC, meaning you can be pulled over specifically for that. According to GSA.org, Washington was the first state to pass a texting ban in 2007, 10 years ago. Driving courses are being offered to teach people the consequences from texting and driving. With the nationwide awarenesses on the shocking statistics of texting while driving, the federal, state, and local governments and municipalities have proposed and enacted laws to prohibit cell phone usage while on the road. So far, more than 30 states have a law that places a ban on texting while behind the wheel, urging drivers to think twice before they pull out their phones. The type of penalties and amounts of fines range from location to location. Currently, the options are being weighed on how to effectively further enforce texting ban laws. According to iDriveSafely.com, one of the leading causes of car accidents is texting and driving. Texting while driving is an increasingly common practice across all ages. Statistics report that an alarming 1 in 5 drivers text while behind the wheel. It is not just a problem with teens anymore. Regardless of who is doing it, one thing remains the same. Texting while driving is extremely dangerous and could end up costing you or someone else their lives. Thank you, and this is the end of my speech.